Hey, superstars, it's your best friend Scott. Every once in a while, I like to give myself a little time to do those pieces that I want to do. I get to flex my creative muscles, perhaps, and maybe push the boundaries and take some more risks than I would be able to do with commissions. Not that I don't love doing the commissions too, but a piece like this, it just carries a little bit more weight for me. Today, we're doing a piece that's been living rent-free in my head for years, and it's time to get it out of there because honestly, there's not a whole lot of space up there to begin with. I started this on the computer, and here's a shot of that with the reference photo. I was so excited that I forgot to take a bunch of video. Amateur. Before cutting the wood, I wanted to make sure I was happy with my planning, so I cut it out in cardboard. I made a couple of very minor adjustments, but everything looked good, so I cut the wood. We'll put this together one last time before I start painting. Some of the pieces were too big for my laser, so I had to piece them together, but it should all work out. Let's talk about what's going on here. We've got two players in the back seat of an old car. That's Nap Lajoie, Cobb, and they're in a Chalmers Model 30. So Lajoie was the first true superstar of the American League. In 1901, he set a record that still stands today, hitting a staggering .426 for the season. He finished his career with 3,243 hits, and he was the first AL player to ever reach the 3,000 hit milestone. He was so popular that when he came to Cleveland, they renamed the team after him, going from the Cleveland Broncos to the Cleveland Naps. So he wasn't just a star, he was an institution. While his rival Cobb was known for his fire and spikes, Lajoie was known for his effortless grace. At second base, he moved like a ballet dancer, making the hardest plays look like a walk in the park. He was well-liked and well-respected, the perfect gentleman in a league known for being rough and tumble. And then there was Cobb. When the Baseball Hall of Fame held its first ever vote in 1936, Ty received more votes than Babe Ruth or Honus Wagner. The Georgia Peach wasn't just a player, he was a force of nature who redefined how the game was played. Cobb's stats are almost unbelievable. He holds the record for the highest career batting average in history at .366. He won 12 batting titles, including 9 in a row, which is a little bit contested, but I'll get into that in a minute. And he stole home a record 54 times. He didn't just play baseball, he went to war on the diamond. For decades, Cobb was portrayed as a monster, a man who sharpened his spikes and hated his teammates, his opponents, the fans, and everyone in between. There was some truth that he wasn't exactly well loved around the league. Cobb was a fierce competitor who'd do anything to win, but modern historians have revealed that he's a more complex man. In reality, Cobb was a generous philanthropist who funded a hospital, and he helped integration-era stars like Willie Mays. So why are they in this car? Before Chrysler or Dodge, there was Chalmers. Founded by marketing mastermind Hugh Chalmers in 1908, this Detroit powerhouse became the 8th largest car manufacturer in America in just 3 years. But they didn't just build cars, they built a legacy through baseball. In 1910, the batting title wasn't just for glory. The Chalmers Motor Company was giving the winner a Chalmers Model 30 automobile, quite the prize in its day. The race pitted the Georgia Peach Cobb against the big Frenchman Nap Lajoie. But this wasn't just a contest of skill, it became a war of personalities. Right before the final games between the Tigers and the Naps in Detroit in the 1910 season, the press asked Cobb and Lajoie to pose with this car for photos. Neither would sit in the front seat, so the picture was taken with the two sitting awkwardly together in the back seat, one of my favorite baseball images of all time. Entering the final weekend, Cobb held a slim lead. To protect his average, he famously sat out the final two games, claiming an eye ailment. The baseball world was disgusted. Many people felt that Cobb sitting out felt like a coward's move to secure the car. Meanwhile, Lajoie faced the St. Louis Browns in a doubleheader for the final two games of the year. The Browns manager Jack O'Connor hated Cobb so much that he ordered his rookie third baseman to play on the outfield grass. Lajoie saw the opening and he bunted for 6 straight hits. He finished the day 8 for 8. The scandal was so obvious that the Browns manager was eventually banned from baseball. AL President Van Johnson declared Cobb the winner by a fraction, but Hugh Chalmers gave both men a car to save face. Decades later, historians found a clerical error. Cobb had one game counted twice. If the math had been right in 1910, Lajoie would have won outright. To avoid another mess, Chalmers changed the rules in 1911. Instead of the highest average, the car would go to the player who was the most important and useful to their team. This was the birth of the Chalmers Award, the direct ancestor to the modern MVP trophy we see today. Despite their early success and luxury features like power tire inflators, Chalmers struggled with overproduction and the post-World War I recession. By 1923, the company merged with Maxwell and eventually became the foundation for the Chrysler Corporation. Who do you think deserved this car, though? It was a fascinating chapter in baseball history. There's an excellent book about this called The Chalmers Race by Rick Hoon, and it goes further into detail about how this whole fiasco caused baseball to really look into how they were keeping stats, and what baseball fan can do without stats, right? I highly recommend it. There it is, the biggest, most complicated parallax painting I've ever done. It measures 18 by 24 and it has 8 layers. I'm quite proud of it, and even though it is for sale, I'm happy to keep it around in the meantime. I hope you guys like this one and maybe learned a little something. And of course, thank you for watching. I'll be back next week with some more baseball art. In the meantime, please take good care of yourselves, take care of each other, and we'll see you real soon.